So finishing the example from yesterday, we had written down values, I think. Is this on 1500 or 1540? 40? Y'all confusing me.
It's 1500.
P was what? So we had already found mu and standard deviation. So we're okay. Okay. Oops. I just want to do that. And we got, what is our standard deviation? Because 10% condition. So we'd already written out this. And we stopped there pretty much, right? Okay. So with 0.33, when I'm finding Z, what am I writing? Divided by and what does that give you? And those of you who are watching this video right now from home and you are not in third period, and we did this in class yesterday, or if you did it in class yesterday and you're at home today, just skip forward to my video until I get to the conclude part. And so we end up getting, what is our Z-score there? Negative 1.63, our Z 4.37. It's going to be the same thing, but positive just because it so happens to be 0.02 above and it was 0.02 below. It's not always going to be the case that we do them that way. So now using my green sheet, finding my areas. My area for negative 1.63 gives me what? My area for 1.63 gives me 0.9484. Trying to move it over. What do I need to do from here? I need to subtract them. There's two other things. Draw it and shade it and rewrite it. So negative 1.63, and I don't care in what order you do those. 1.63, draw it, shade it, and then subtract it. So I've got one that's positive, one that's negative. Shading between. And 0.9484 minus 0.0516, which gives me what?
$860.
All right, so that's just getting through green sheet stuff. So the do is actually always the math part. The only thing we have left is conclude. So this problem starts by asking us, what is the probability that the random sample of that many students will give a result of this? Is it important that we're talking about random sample? This is something that we kind of tie in more later, but I've mentioned this throughout. Does it matter that it's random? Yes, because that's like saying if we just pick AP Stat students, we are not randomly selecting, which means it wouldn't fit that distribution, which is the whole point. So it is specific that we're randomly selecting. So if we were to actually, and y'all just write this with me, if we were to randomly select, what and how many are we randomly selecting? $1,500 what? The way I always think about my conclude, and this is kind of the statistical standpoint that you take for all this stuff, and I've exaggerated a little bit. Basically, the way statistics looks at things is a very sarcastic point of view. Say, okay, let's pretend that I believe you, and everything you say is right. If everything you say is right, then this is how it would work. So that's kind of like how we're going to say that is. Okay, so let's say that what you say is right. If this were this and this were this, that's how it's going to work. So if we were to actually randomly select, when, what's the other thing it gave us? It only gave us one other thing. So if we were to actually randomly select them, when the parameter that you're telling me actually was true, then, and I'm answering in words what we just did, what did we find? Found a probability. Oh, 3, 5, yeah, I'm still doing that. Candy question. And what did we find the probability of? Which is usually word for the problem.
It's usually the result within 2 percentage points.
So that the probability that trying to word the way I want to word it. We will get a result within, yeah. And I haven't said context yet. I could have said it with P, but since I didn't, because usually it says it when it says this part of it. So the probability that we will get the proportion of portion we already talked about. We already said we randomly select first-year college students, so now we just have to talk about success. Then the probability that we will get a proportion of students attending within, I guess you should say attending college. So there's my context. We found the probability that our p hat is what? Like, what did the question ask?
Within 2 percentage points.
I'm just thinking wording here. Being within 2 percentage points of, what did it say, of the population? They're not usually this wordy. Is, I think I just worded that one terribly to make it long. The probability is what? What is our answer? Some people are going to feel better about writing that as percent. That's absolutely fine. So I'm going to break this down. We're randomly selecting, and y'all don't have to write it like this because I'm going to do a generic one. This is my what? Sample size. This is my what? Population. This is my parameter P equals. Then the probability that, well, that's kind of like the if we were to randomly select, then the probability that we will get, what is all of this talking about? Success. This part is what it actually asked about. So it breaks down better than the way I worded it. All right, so now that we've done a specific problem, we're going to go back and write a generic template for it.